Greetings, Virgo. My name is Gabriel, and this is going to be a grand tableau with general messages for you for the month of December 2019. I have been reading Lenormand for about 6 or 7 years, and I noticed that there's really not a lot of, there's not as much representation of the Lenormand on YouTube. So I offer these videos as, of course, messages, but also for, other aspiring Lenormand readers. There's a lot of value in seeing somebody else interpret the cards. It is my personal belief and my experience that Lenormand is not a lesser oracle. It is able to deliver deep spiritual guidance. It is not a mundane thing. It has just as much of an ecosystem of words to deliver messages like the tarot does. So I also offer these as a resource to other Lenormand readers, other people who are interested in reading this type of system. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and begin. What are the messages for Virgo for the month of December? (2019). Oh. Virgo, December 2019. All right, I think these cards are ready. And I'll do my best to make sure these are all in the frame. We have bouquet, the key, bear, the rats, stars, heart, rider, cross, and moon. Lilies, dog, birds, letter, the child, snake, whip, clouds. The first significator, the man card, is here. The sun, the scythe, tree, tower, and the woman card is here. Anchor, mountain, clover, the stork, coffin, fish, house, the waves, ring, the ship, book, the garden, and fox. So the first thing I say, just to give kind of an introduction to the way that I'll be approaching the cards, since these are general messages and we are looking for salient themes throughout the month, we'll be using the man and the woman card, the man being here, the woman being here, as general starting places. In my experience, I don't really gender typify the man or the woman, terribly so. Traditionally, in a one-on-one reading, if I were reading for a woman, I would look at the signifiers around the woman, vice versa for the man. But oftentimes they're just kind of general starting places, and that's how I'll be approaching it here. Virgo, I think the first thing that stands out to me is that there are going to be a lot of pleasant surprises that are arriving in the month of December. I think these are going to be surprise loyalties coming into your life. I think a relationship, some type of interpersonal relationship that you have, is going to find new footing. It's going to find a new stability. Perhaps things have been rocky with this person, whether it be, a romantic partner or a friendship. Perhaps things have been unstable in the past. Perhaps there have been disputes throughout the year or arguments. But I see that this relationship is going to enter into a new period of calm waters where it feels like smooth sailing, where you feel confident in the loyalty and the loyalties of this person. I think that some of you Virgos are going to find this very soothing, because primarily on your mind is a new sense of stability and simplicity. We have the child card here. The child card speaks of maybe in its shadow side, naivete, but overall it speaks to things that are simple. Maybe not childlike in the negative sense, but a desire for things to be what they are on their face value. I think this is your guiding inspiration for the month, to seek out and to pursue that straightforward, things being what they seem to be, quality. In as many aspects of your life as you can. Your friendships, what you say should reflect exactly what you think. Also in your romantic relationships as well. The inner should mirror the outer this month. And I think, in an overall way, you're going to have success. You're going to be able to communicate your inner landscape correctly and accurately to the people around you this month. I think both above the two significators, the woman card being here, she's crowned ultimately by the stars, which bring to mind guidance, clarity, the North Star as a guiding point. It makes me think of the stars as being the compass that sailors would use to navigate the oceans. And similarly, the other signifier here, the man card, is being crowned by the moon. The moon brings to mind deepest intuition, right? Intuition is our true first language. It's how we interact with the world around us. It tells me that for you Virgos, the overarching message, really for all of you, is that whatever your storyline is this month, the guidance that you are receiving from your gut is going to be accurate, and it is something that you should follow. I see, the first card here in the House of the Rider is the bouquet. The bouquet can represent surprises, primarily. A bundle of things coming all together, all arriving at the same time. I think it's going to be a very important month for you to pay attention to your dreams. Both the moon and the stars have a nocturnal quality. And it brings to mind the importance of paying attention to your subconscious, your intuition, the subtle messages that you receive throughout the month. I think it'd be a very valuable month for you to, one, catch up on as much of the sleep as you can, because sometimes we simply don't get enough. And two, to pay attention to your dreams. It's a very valuable month to keep a dream journal. I think, obviously, all throughout the month, always, it's just a good practice for everybody to pay attention to the messages they're receiving in their dreams. But I think especially so, Virgo, for this month of December, I think the messages that you receive, the types of communication that you receive in your dreams, are going to be very valuable. Perhaps, it's not your spiritual path to see your dreams as messages from spirits or the ancestors or something like that, and that's absolutely fine. We all have different spiritualities, but I think it was Jung, or maybe Freud, one of those Austrian or German writers, who said that everybody that we see in our dreams, every image that we see in our dreams, is really an aspect of ourselves. So if maybe using your dreams as a connecting bridge to your spirits or to ancestors, or however your spiritual tradition, if you have one, sees things like that, maybe that's not really your thing. Pay attention to your dreams, as they're going to show you different aspects of your personality this month. Different things that you need to pay attention to establish that matching. Being able to communicate your inner landscape to the outer world in a way that is honest and in a way that allows you a deeper connection to the people around you. I see that as something that you're going to be ultimately successful with. And I think that that's going to be the greater message for you this month. And especially so, I think, and I mentioned this, I believe, towards the beginning, your oldest friends, the people who you have known the longest, I think there's going to be a rekindling of some type of relationship there, a positive affirmation of the people who have known you the longest. Ultimately, this month is going to bring a confirmation that yes, these people do indeed understand you. It's a month where you are going to be able to rally around you the people who are closest to you, the people who understand you the most. And you are going to feel as though they do understand you. And I think that's going to be important, because ultimately we have kind of a situation where you're going to need to soon rely on those people. can also see you entering into a period of critical instability. Let's see. There is some type of seasonal flux at play here. I do think that it could be an episode of seasonal depression, right? So depression is something that's real, right? And I think that it affects everybody. I think we're kind of entering into this period where people are very interested in having conversations around mental health and mental well-being. And I think Virgo, we have the clouds here in the 17th house, which it connects it very directly here to the stork. The clouds are a signifier of things that are changing, things that are nebulous in quality. By extension, I always apply that to the mind, right? The emotional landscape. When we think about what the clouds are, they're never set. They're always in motion. You can lie back in the grass and look up at the clouds and see a turtle, and then 5 seconds later, it changes into, I don't know, a coffee cup. I'm looking at something right here in front of me. But ultimately, it's something that's ever shifting, right? It's never set. The inner landscape. That ever-changing quality is also affirmed here in the stork. The stork brings about issues of cyclical change, seasonal change. The birds come and go with the seasons on their own time. There's also a nurturing quality to the stork. It ameliorates some of the other more difficult placements of the cards around it. And these two cards are ultimately framing one of the signifiers, the man. Above the man, we have heart, the emotions of the heart, the rider, things that are being made manifest, things that are increasing, coming towards you. Cross represents a critical period, something that you have to contend with. And the moon brings about ideas of the unconscious, the psychic self, your internal apparatus, id, ego, superego. Clouds, the ever-changing emotional landscape, your internal landscape, your emotional body. And then just below you, we have the clover, which represents a small window of time, and the stork, cyclical, coming and going, a cycle. I think for some of you Virgos, you could be honestly contesting with maybe a real feeling of seasonal depression. Obviously, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the time of year where we're, entering into winter proper, December. It's also a period around the holidays. For many people, this is a very difficult time period. And that's honestly okay, right? Your holiday season and the things that you need this time of year, whatever you need, that's absolutely okay. You have whatever type of holiday season you need to have. And I think the message here, kind of connecting these two storylines, is that ultimately it is good this month to reach out to maybe some of those old friends that you haven't spoken to in a long time. Your old loyalties are going to be key. New conversations with people whom you have known for a long time are going to bring about a new, fruitful, emotional stability. perhaps the message here is to pay attention, right? We all have a need for community. That's a human need. We all have a need to see and be seen and to know and be known by other people. That is a healthy thing to feel. And I think the two contrasting messages, right, are one, it's okay to have weird feelings about this time of year. It's okay to go through periods where maybe you need to reach out to friends just because you feel the need to be in a community with people, that maybe you let these relationships slide, but it is not inauthentic to reach out to people because you're feeling lonely. I know that sounds, it sounds stupid to say out loud, but I think many people, they go through this bout where they're lonely and they're depressed, and they also don't want to reach out to these old friends because they're afraid that it will sound inauthentic, right? Like the only reason I'm reaching out to this person is because I need something. That's not a correct form of thinking. It is normal that relationships come to the center of your life and maybe they move out to the periphery for a little bit and then they come back to the center. Relationships have a cyclical quality. They come and go like the seasons do, and that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. I think one of the greatest lies that we have bought into with social media and the advent of social media is that every relationship is going to be around unchanged for forever. And that's simply not the case, right? That's not rooted in reality. I know personally, some of my greatest friends, some of my deepest friendships, they, we go through periods of time where maybe we don't talk every day. And Virgos, I think this could perhaps be the case for you as well. Maybe the message here is to navigate this particularly difficult period of your life, of your year, by reaching out to those old friends that you're able to connect with, and you just hit the ground running and it's like you didn't lose any time. And from these placements, it tells me that these people do exist for you. Maybe you've forgotten the importance of those relationships or how good it feels to be in community with those people. I think the message here is pay attention. It is quite possible that you have an unmet need for community, for relationships, interpersonal relationships. And to feel free to reach out to those people. It is not inauthentic. It is not fake. Pay attention to your dreams. And it should also be said, there are many people, especially if you are going through a period of depression, who are not going to be dreaming, right? Their quality of sleep is not such that they're going to be having these, vivid, deep, spiritual, impactful dreams. And that's okay as well. If that is the case, just make sure you're getting enough sleep. That is important. For many of you, you need to establish a newfound focus on your own stability. A new commitment to your own stability and the things that your heart needs, right? The anchor is in the 24th position, which connects it to the heart, which ultimately crowns this card as well. Anchor yourself in the things that your heart needs. Use that as your guidance. I know that sounds like a very general message, right? And ultimately it is. I mean, these are, broad messages for Virgos for the month of December. But ultimately this message seems to be venture inward. Take an honest look at what your emotional experience is of this month and use that as your guidance to form your relationships. Ultimately, I think, like I said before, you'll have a need for community. You'll find yourself reaching out to people from your past, people with whom your interactions, your relationship is warming and affirming and calming and stabilizing. People with whom your relationships are ultimately simple. I think those are going to be the things that you need the most this month. Reestablish your connection to your own heart, and then be brave enough to act accordingly. Virgo, I hope you were able to get something out of these messages. I do hope to, first of all, continue through all of the signs, which figuring out exactly how to do that in a way that is timely and I can get these messages out quick enough is a learning process for me as well. I also read Vera Sibilla, which is an 18th century Italian oracle, and the Tarot de Marseille, but Lenormand is, one of my first loves. So be sure to keep checking back. My goal is to do this every month, and I also have some other ideas for some cool projects as well. For those of you who are using these readings kind of as a touchstone so that you can maybe get some ideas or some inspiration for your own Grand Tableau interpretations, feel free to ask any questions, any feedback, anything like that is welcome. Virgo, I hope you have a wonderful month of December. My name is Gabriel, and I'll see you again soon.